morning, viewer. I am R.C. Sinha, founder of New Delhi IAS, operating in New Delhi, Old Rajendra Nagar. Along with that, I am co-founder of Analog IAS Hyderabad and co-founder of IAS Forum Banglore. Accordingly, my work schedule is that from Monday to Friday, I am here in Delhi. Friday evening, I invariably fly out to Bangalore or Hyderabad depending on schedule. The basic objective of sharing issues of national and international importance with you is firstly to address civil services aspirants, mean addressing youth of India. And secondly, all these series of episodes would be for we people of India because of the fact that we know that national awareness, concern for the nation, that is missing really in this country. That has tempted me to start this series of episodes. Before starting, I would like to share that yes, in this country we are sustaining casteism, communalism, regionalism, separatism, terrorism, Maoism, Naxalism, minus nationalism. We don't have sense of nationalism. This we had been realizing for so long, and now it is high time. This is just a time factor that I decided to come before you, put before you series of episodes covering issues of national and international importance. The objective would be to develop concept, to develop concern, and to develop national awareness, because concept is just confined to what you know. Concern is related to whether you are very much interested in sorting out the issues or not. And national awareness does mean whether you are aware of the ground realities or not. So these series of episodes would be addressing, I repeat, civil services aspirants, to address youth of India, and to common man irrespective of their profession. Let me first address civil services aspirants especially. I would say you must have got to know that around 9 lakh applicants were there in 2014 preliminary examinations. Out of them, 4.5 lakh appeared. Final selection, there would be 1,200 around. It does mean remaining have to get back home with tears, of course. So who are those 1,200? They are the great strategists. They are very good strategists. And that means that it is not only your concept, not only your preparation, not only your ability that will decide whether it be this side or that side of fence. The key role would be played by who has good strategy, who has better, and who has the best. First question, what is the strategy? This is high sounding word for many, but this is very simple to understand in 5 steps. First thing I would say, in terms of deriving a strategy for civil services examination, you must have a temptation of setting assignment for every day. First step, setting assignment for every day, whatever you are going to do, and that has to be finished by the end of the day, so that a sense of creativity should develop in you, that yes, you are an asset, you are not a liability. Whatever you take up, you finish that. This generates creativity, this generates sense of achievement, sense of completion. Second step is what? Second step is going through the courses of study number of times, and thereafter you go through the number of questions asked from those areas. This will make you realize that while attempting this examination or while appearing before this examination, which areas is touched by the commission in what way. By having this kind of awareness, then you attend any class anywhere at any coaching institute or any training center whatsoever. You would be able to make out whether you are putting your time, energy, money in right way or whether it is in wrong way. Because you do know, one can get back energy, one can get back money, but one cannot get back time at all. Not at all. So this is second step. That means second step is related to revising courses of study number of times and going to the number of questions to make out what type of question from what area. Third step, you do know that all these questions, and especially this examination, is based on current issues. But actually they are not current issues. Let me clarify. They touch current issue at tip of iceberg. It does mean if you are studying about, if suppose the news is related to transfer of governors, it does mean you have to go into the detail of the appointment, service condition, pay allowances, powers and removal of governor, in order to clarify what is going wrong, what is right, what could be the corrective measure. Likewise, if you get to know about news firing of GSLV, then what is ASLV, PSLV, GSLV, what are their boosters, how are they launched, what types of technology it is used, what is their payload capacity, everything should be in your mind. That does mean that current affairs should be taken not just as current affairs, it should be taken as tip of iceberg. For that reason, I'm highlighting you to go to the newspapers. Which newspaper? Newspaper may be of your choice. It's not that I would recommend the Hindu, the Indian Express or whatever. It is your choice completely. But yes, of course, the newspaper, like most of the people go to the Hindu, the Indian Express, the Statesman, whatever you go through, first you make out every day, it should be your habit that every day you should classify all the news into social, economic, political, administrative, technical, ecological, environmental, defense related, diplomacy related, international organization related. Just mark out them and don't go to the newspaper thoroughly every day. It would be sheer wastage of time if you are a civil services aspirant. You might be thinking in a very different way, but this is very hardcore professional way I am sharing with you because of having more than 2 decades of experience in this field. Daily readers of newspapers, once you are selected, you go through. But for those who are aspiring, they should classify the news. Instead of going to that detail, you just put up the newspaper there by making an aerial view. Otherwise, you will get tempted to read out such news also which are not at all related to your career building or whatsoever. For example, if Aishwarya Rai visiting New Delhi, it has nothing to do with your preparation, nothing to do with your career, but it is your age factor, you can't control it. You would be tempted to go to that news also. Train bus collision, 5 people dead, 13 injured. You might be tempted to know that where it happened. Yes, you should know, but that is not your news. That news related to why number of accidents, why roads are over flooded, why roads are overcrowded, what should be the traffic management, what should be the mode of transport. That way you have to take up the news. So instead of going through news every day, that would be spoiling your more than 2 to 3 hours per day. Better you classify the news and put up the newspaper on your study table and forget it. Likewise, it should be your weekly program to analyze newspaper. Suppose you have collected newspaper from 10th of August to 17th of August. On 17th of August, you make it a point that you are going to analyze weekly news in one go, within 3 to 4 hours or in max 5 hours. It's a closed door, it should be, and it should be you must make out, it should be under pressure. So instead of going through 10 to 17, you start going in reverse direction. 17, 16, 15, 14 like that. What shall be the advantage? The advantage would be on 17, suppose there is already an agreement between India and Japan. Suppose, then on 16th, the delegates should be discussing over the issue. On 15th, delegates should be coming to India and attending even Independence Day also. On 14th, some agenda would be prepared to how to discuss with Japan. So all these news have become relevant for you once you come to know the conclusion of the news. And such news in a weekly analysis, if you find that those news which yet to be carried forward because conclusion has yet to come, you carry forward that news, and this way you note down all the news in white paper, tick out. It should be very tempting if you put out lots of you can say white paper on your study table along with number of pens. It is very tempting, and you write down all the news along with those terms also which you are not aware of. For example, you are writing news related to monetary policy where you have put on a word like marginal standing facility. You have put on a word like holding till maturity. You don't know what is holding till maturity, but even then you write there, compose the news within 50 words, 150 words or whatsoever you want, but in max in between 100 words. And thereafter what you do, at the end of the day, after analyzing all the news, taking out all the news, sideline the newspaper and go for web search. Web search for those terms which you are not aware of what is the meaning. That will make you very tempted, and naturally the whole week news would be on your fingertips. This way, first step I would like to remind you, that is going through courses of study and going through the number of questions, type of questions. Second thing is daily assignment, completing the assignment daily basis. Third thing, as I told you, is analyzing newspaper on weekly basis. Then fourth step, that is related to magazines, because text preparation is just a basic preparation that has to be enriched by magazine. And magazine, Yojana is must, Kurukshetra is must, of course Frontline, because that's a really good magazine. And along with all these magazine, you can have carry any carrier magazine of your choice. I won't recommend any particular. So while going through magazine, what should be a style of preparation? What is called a strategy? First, you take out content of all the magazines very respectfully, of course. Taking out content, yes, and then staple them together. And thereafter you analyze that which topics could be clubbed up, which topics could be clubbed in. For example, there is one issue related to child labor in India. In another magazine, there is an issue, sexual abuses of children in India. In another issue, there is problem of unorganized workforce in India. In another issue, role of National Labour Commission. In one issue, International Labour Organization, their role and strategy. All these news, if clubbed together, you will be able to prepare the complete labor issues right from top to bottom. And thereafter, you try to find out what kind of questions should be asked. Suppose the question is that controlling child labor is not child's play. Analyze this statement with reference to Child Labor Act in India and especially highlight the reasons why Child Labor Act could not be put into action. If this is the question, that does mean you have to analyze Child Labor Act, Child Labor first problem, thereafter the Act, and then you have to find out the reason why it did not come into action. You are setting 3 points. That means if you are allocating 50 words, that would be 150 words, 25 words in starting the question, 25 words in concluding the question. It would be highly mechanical, highly professional 200 words you are putting before the examiner. This is the way. In bullet points, this is the way. Very computerized, highly professional, very well ordered questions. This should be your style. So this is, I would like to repeat, daily assignment, going through study, courses of study and questions, then going through the newspaper, going through magazines, and finally you must develop an habit. This is fifth step. At the end of the day, generally you get tired, you feel drowsy. Then what you do? You start writing. Writing number of issues which you have covered that day, and same issue in 50 words, in 150 words, in 200 words, to find out how much flexible you are and how much good editor you are. Because every examinee has to be a very good editor. That does mean you know whatever issue you know that issue, you should explain in terms of the background of the issue, the present status, its a positive aspects, its a negative aspects, its reformative aspects. I repeat, the background, the present status, the positive aspect, negative aspects, and the reformative aspects. If this way you classify all the issue, within short while, I tell you, really speaking, within short while, you would be able to, within 1 year, in one go, you will be able to crack this high profile examination. Otherwise, if you don't have good strategy, you will find number of candidates everywhere in India attempting this examination for 4 times, 5 times, having their 5-year plan of no result. They are very good scholars, no doubt. They know a number of things. They are voracious readers, but the basic problem with them is they are not able to put their concept or their concern right in order with word management or with time management. So this episode I especially highlighted for civil services aspirants, and these days, because of changing service condition of civil services, especially I as professional have found that majority of engineers, doctors, management graduates, they are appearing this examination as taking religiously, that, and this should be good, this is good. They are not wasting the revenue spent on them. Rather, they are trying to find out a larger platform where they would be able to do the best. This is one thing I would like to clarify, that you see, number of times it happens that when an M.Tech or B.Tech, when a doctor is joining civil services, number of times this question comes in his mind or her mind also, that is it wastage of time, energy on their technical education? Not at all, not at all. Not at all, because now there is no part of administration which you say that is untouched from technology. Every aspect, whether it is law and order, intelligence, border management, security, banking, insurance, infrastructure development, even in road signal trafficking, you need automation in order to avoid rush. So every aspect of life has become technical. So technocrats are very, it does not mean non-technical persons are worthless for the country, but yes, technical, non-technical does not mean if you are engineer, you are technical. And if you are from social science, you are non-technical. No. If your approach is very scientific, that means your approach is very systematic. Whether you are studying even history, you would be called a technocrat. Yes. For example, if you are studying history, suppose, and your approach is very systematic, very scientific, like suppose Indus Valley civilization, you say there is finding of pottery. Pottery does mean there is finding of wheel. If there is wheel, there will be concept of transport. If there is transport, there will be concept of trade. Trade for what? Trade for what? Trade because there was no industries, it was agriculture. That means trade of agro products. If trade of agro products, it does mean people were based on agroeconomy. It does mean they were based on nature. It does mean they were close to natural uncertainty. It does mean they were close to belief. Because once you are closer to natural uncertainty or uncertainty as a whole, you would be closer to belief. This happens even today. This is the reason that agro people of India, rural people of India are very much religious in comparison to urban Indian people. So, and because of that reason, Indus Valley civilization is followed by Vedic civilization, highly religious society. So this is the way of systematic study, what is called scientific study, what is called technical way of preparation, I highlighted in this episode. This is inaugural episode. It will be followed by a series of episodes covering issues of national and international importance. Thank you so much. God bless.